By a score of 1-0, the New York Yankees have the longest winning streak that they have had since July of last year. 5-game winning streak now as they improved to 13-7 after they won the second straight game here against the Tampa Bay Rays. And this was a fascinating game to kind of take part in and watch. Not a lot of offense, obviously. 8 combined hits between the two teams, 1 combined run. But we saw 3 really special plays in this game defensively, including one by Anthony Volpe to Paul Goldschmidt that was fantastic, and then a couple ones that hurt the Yankees, including Caballero robbing Ben Rice of a 2-run home run, and legitimately robbing. Like, his glove was above the wall when he made the catch, not one of those ones that were 50-50. Doesn't make that catch, it's clearly a homer. But the Yankees were able to come away with a victory, and there's a lot to go over in terms of what's exciting. But I have to start off with the guy I've been really hard on so far this season, because I've mentioned it a few times. The Yankees need their high-priced starters to be their best players, and Carlos Rodon was the best Yankee on the field tonight. 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 4 walks. Still had a little trouble with the walks. We'll talk about that in a second. 9 strikeouts, no earned runs, gets his first win of the year. And it's interesting because you think about the way this game started in the bottom of the first inning for him, and you started to wonder if we were going to have, quite frankly, Todd Frazier said it at the end of the broadcast on Friday night. You started to think, oh, here we go again. He walks Yandy Diaz to start the game. Junior Caminero singles to left field. And all of a sudden, you're right away with 2 runners on, and you're like, oh, this is going to be another one of those games, another one of those starts for Carlos Rodon, where I'm going to come on here and I'm going to be mad, I'm going to be upset, I'm going to explain that he's not the same pitcher he was in San Francisco or Chicago, and I'm going to bring up his salary, and I'm going to bring up how they need more from him, and all that stuff's already running through my head. And he goes, strikeout, strikeout, strikeout. And then, so he comes back the next inning and walks a guy and then goes strikeout, double play. So he got things under control. Again, walks were still a little bit of an issue for him, and they've been an issue for him all season long, but he was able to work around them tonight, only scattered 2 hits, and was really phenomenal. And then the bullpen, once again, 3 excellent innings from Mark Leiter Jr., Fernando Cruz, and Luke Weaver, who came in to get the save. No Devin Williams in this game. It turns out he was not. They were going to try to stay away from him after pitching. I think he had like a 3-5 or 4-6 kind of run there. So even though he only threw 6 pitches in the first game to get the save, they wanted to kind of stay away from him, and Luke Weaver looked good here. All 3 pitchers pitched exactly 1 inning. All 3 pitchers struck out 2 batters, and their only hit/walk allowed was Mark Leiter allowing 1 hit. But otherwise, this bullpen continues to be absolutely dominant. Fernando Cruz looks really good. He got his ERA down to 2.53. 2 more strikeouts for him. Not a lot to write about home for the offense. But aside from Paul Goldschmidt, who got 60% of the hits for the Yankees, he went 3 for 4 in this game. The only other hits for the Yankees was one by Trent Grisham, which was a big one, as it allowed the Yankees to get that 1-0 lead, as he singled to center field to score Paul Goldschmidt. And then Oswaldo Cabrera also got a hit in this game. But 5 hits for the Yankees, all singles, drew 4 walks. I mean, look, this game wasn't about offense. This game was about solid defensive play from both teams. It was about really strong pitching from both teams. Drew Mashinson, 5 2/3, 7 strikeouts. Look, the Rays bullpen was really good as well. 3 1/3 innings. They only allowed 3 base runners, and they struck out 3 batters. So, I mean, this really was a defense and pitching heavy game, and the Yankees were able to come out on top. And it's really encouraging to kind of see Rodon have a start like this, because it's going to be very much needed. And the Yankees are in a really strong position here. They can't lose the series, and now if you split the final 2, you're going to be thrilled with taking 3 or 4 in Tampa at your spring training field. But keeping it positive here, because I do think there are some issues that the Yankees are going to have to look at in their lineup, particularly with their middle infielders right now. I mean, they're not replacing them. Like, you're not benching any of these guys, but they need more from Bellinger, they need more from Jazz Chisholm, and they need more from Anthony Volpe. Those last two in particular, when I refer to the middle infielders. Jazz is down to batting 160. Volpe's now below the Mendoza line. I believe Volpe, from what I saw unofficially, he struck out 3 times tonight, but I believe he had 8 swing and misses in this game. He's fighting it right now. Jazz is as cold as can be at the plate right now as well. And by the way, we'll talk about what's happening with him. He got served a 1-game suspension on Friday. He appealed it, so he played. But I don't know if he's going to, between the ejection, I believe he lightly tossed his helmet toward home plate. Obviously, then he goes back into the clubhouse and tweets about it, which is a big no-no. And for 2 reasons. One, you're not allowed to tweet while the game is going. And 2, you're not allowed to comment directly on umpiring like that on social media. So I do imagine he's going to be told to sit down probably for one of these games over the weekend here. And the Yankees will probably get Oswald Peraza, in that spot. But we'll see what that leads to him. But, maybe having a day off isn't the worst thing in the world. Obviously, I'm sure he doesn't want to lose the game check. But maybe having a day off, given the way he's been scuffling, isn't the worst thing right now. If you start to look at it, he's got... since the end of the Pittsburgh series, he's got 3 hits. In the game, Detroit series, 0 for 4, 0 for 4, 0 for 4. San Francisco series, 0 for 2, 0 for 3, 1 for 4, 1 for 4. Excuse me. Kansas City, 1 for 4, 0 for 3, 1 for 2, and then so far he's 0 for 7 with a walk in the first 2 games of this series. So, and even if you take away the bad call the other night, then he's 0 for 6 with 2 walks. So, I mean, he's just not finding it at the plate right now, but the rest of this pitching staff has picked him up. The rest of the lineup has picked him up. It was, a rare night to see both Judge and Rice hitless, 0 for 7 at the top of their lineup. They only got on base 1 time. But, look, the Yankees... This is not a team that you would have thought, especially last year, would be winning a lot of 1-0 games. It's probably not the easiest way to get some of these victories here, but it's really encouraging to see that they can win games in different ways. We talked about a little bit on yesterday's podcast about overcoming adversity in order to win. This game was, can you close out a game where your offense isn't providing a lot of runs? And it has been a little bit of an issue. When they can't score at least 4, they don't tend to win games this year. So this 1-0 victory was huge. And I'm actually taking a look at their numbers now and trying to go all the way back here to opening day. And I do not believe they have won a game where I'm trying to see what the lowest amount of runs. I think 4 might be the lowest amount of runs that they've won. And they've won a few games. I believe they've won 4 games this year with exactly 4 runs. All 3 Royals games. And they also won one of the Brewers games. Opening day was a 4-run game. But otherwise, they had previously lost their other opportunities when they scored less than 4. They were, let me see. 0-1, 0-2, 0-3, 0-4. Yeah, 0-4. They were 0-4 in games this year before this, in which they scored fewer than 4 runs. So good to see them win in this fashion. Good to see Carlos Rodon have a great start. Good to see the bullpen continue to succeed the way that it has. And this was everything they needed. We talked on yesterday's show. They needed Rodon to go deep into the game, allow the righties in the bullpen to have that success because of the heavy lefty usage of Tim Hill and Ryan Yarbrough in Thursday's game probably kept them out of this game. And obviously we ended up learning that Devin Williams wasn't going to be in this game as well. Luke Weaver steps up. And I know that's really exciting for a lot of people, especially Yankees fans who are humongous fans of Luke Weaver. And I know a lot of people still would probably prefer Luke Weaver to be that 9th inning guy over Devin Williams. But encouraging win for the Yankees. They will now head into the weekend trying to finish off this series. 1 win to win the series, 2 wins for a second consecutive sweep. They will play on Saturday as I look here right now to find out what the time of the game is. It is a 4:10 p.m. Eastern start time. Carlos Carrasco coming off of his best start of the season versus Shane Baz, who's been absolutely fantastic this year. And then the series finale is a 1:40 p.m. Eastern game, and ace Max Fried will take the mound, trying to keep his perfect record alive, trying to win his 5th consecutive game that he has started for the Yankees against Ryan Pepio. So we will see if the Yankees can finish this off. We will talk about how they can or they cannot throughout the rest of this weekend. But the big takeaway here is this team is winning in different ways, and that's really encouraging. Strong defense, strong bullpen, and in this case, it wasn't the offense, it wasn't slugging, it was their starter. It was their high-priced starter. It was their much maligned, but by me, I mean, I'm the one doing the maligning, but the much maligned starter, Carlos Rodon. Big game for the Yankees, and let's see if they can keep the momentum going and at least earn a split over the weekend to win the series against the Rays.